Okay, so now the topic at hand, or one of the options to talk about at hand, would be either communism or capitalism. I'm gonna start off with the one that I'm familiar the most, like experience-wise. So communism is basically a straight up, hands down, toughen up type of thing. You have to know clear communication from the beginning, from your very early stage in life. Once that is actually acquired as a natural thing, the next step is to know like the levels or degrees of respect that you have to give others, not yourself but others. So having said that, it prioritizes a fake sense of solidarity with most people, but in reality is simply a way of you to become a dormant or like a passive individual, someone that is more let's put it like this: assertiveness is something that is that has a positive meaning, and on the other hand you have something which is called passiveness. We hear a lot like passive income, things of this nature. But in this regard, since we're talking about human beings, not means of acquiring stuff and wealth, we basically regard ourselves as an individual that takes more than they should, instead of actually having that perspective of sharing, of mutual understanding, and mutual exchange of ideas that eventually would bring out proactiveness or like teamwork type of thing. So that is the very, very foundation of communism. So as you progress on your stages in life, then the higher becomes the loads that are put on you. So these loads, depending on the stage that you are, end up being, for example, taking the leading role of a enterprise that has to give a lot of explanations from like the bots, like why managing these type of enterprise, managing this type of organization, is doing well, but why is it not doing so well the remaining of the area where you do business, or like things of this nature. So depending on the stage, as you go higher up and you progress in your ability to acquire means of whether like to construct things, let's talk about communities, neighborhoods, or to actually develop individuals, like career wise, it all surrounds around the human aspect of things. And the more you grow in one area, which is like the the things, for example, the service area, like nursing, like the financial sector, but you don't grow enough on the other areas when of the economy, like things that have to do with devoting your own personal time to protect or to regulate certain personal or social activities. So what I'm referring to is like security jobs, like military positions, or policing, or what else could I use as an example? Maybe like something to do with maintenance of goods, any types of goods, like but that of course depreciate in value. So like cars, big means of transportation. What else can I use as an example? So that is basically more or less, like in general, an idea of what the communist system is able to reach a certain height in normal terms, or in normal circumstances. That's how high they can reach. When it comes to engaging now into a true mutual exchange of goods, ideas, laws, things of these, that's where the difficulty comes, because again, from the get-go, from the very basement of that type of system, to build things, or build a community, or build a city, a town, a small town, or depending on what is the case, or what is the area, we try to build those aspects that the town, the city, or that community needs in order for it to start developing, with the wrong intention. So what happens is, when you do that, is that since you're not dealing with an actual type of animal that simply obeys orders or reacts to a good stimulus of their progress, hunger, feeding, or like love, or things like this, socializing, but you're actually dealing with humans. So that's when things get mixed up, and that's when these type of laws in communist countries kick in. This type of limits kick in to keep the actual individual looking towards what the communist system wants it to look at, even though the person might not actually see nothing when they're actually looking at whatever the system is guiding them to. So that's the issue. That's the issue. And you have very, very nice, or like let's say very nice or like good-willed individuals coming out of those type of systems. And then also you have very good skilled workers, very good skilled people that comes from those circumstances, of course, with a lot of tolls being taken from the system, because again, it directs growth with the wrong intention. So that's mainly what the communist system is, or like tries to achieve. And in terms of current sustainable businesses, it creates even a bigger conflict, because when you are starting off, and then you're starting off with developing businesses that are unsustainable, like agriculture that isn't sustainable, and I'm referring to anything that is related to the consumption of animal products, animal byproducts, and also industries that also deteriorate in time, like the consumption of fossil fuels, or the consumption of entertainment services that doesn't lead to progress in any sort of way, but simply help carry on the difficulties that comes with trying to develop these two industries, the agriculture one and the transportation industry. So when a communist system starts off with those industries to develop, then it becomes even harsher for the individual, it becomes even more tolling for the individual, and it becomes even more regressive for the individual, emotionally and psychologically, to be able to carry on and to keep on those loads, or at some point even dropping them off completely, just to find themselves having to come back to where they dropped it off and pick it right back up. So that's basically where it ends in the communist system. That's where it ends, because at some point it isn't simply just the people that are like, I can't anymore, and for natural circumstances, whether it's bad health, when we're talking about health, physical or mental health, yes, and then on the other aspect of things, like the means or goods of production, laws has been exhausted, and then now crimes have been committed, and then you might also have resources being exhausted. So now precarious conditions are now present at the area where it might have been it might used to be very resourceful, very beautiful, very good looking land, or things of these circumstances. So yeah, that's basically the reach. That's how much the system can acquire from either the individual itself, or from the land itself, or from the actual rules and regulations and laws that these type of economic systems, or these type of countries that engage into this practice, this systematic practice, is that's as far as they can reach. And then from there on, it's simply limits, because like I said, not every country has that system established. If every country were to have that system established, then we might probably see a longer or not, I'm not expressing myself right, not a longer anything, but a delay in this type of consequences. Why? Because the more you have people and means to exploit, to acquire things, to acquire power, and to gather from, then the more you are delaying that how far you can reach. So if every system, or the majority of the world, were to carry on, or were to develop a communist system, then it simply delays that tolling experience, that withdrawal, that just eventually takes place. So that's literally one end of the spectrum. That was communism.